In this video, I'm going to do a little mini review / overview in my experience with the Bowers & Wilkins M-1s versus the SVS prime elevation speakers. Here we go. All right, you're at your local electronics store and you got $500 to blow on this pair of speakers and you're not sure what to get. Maybe, like if you're like me, my two choices were either the SVS prime elevations or the Bowers & Wilkins M1, but just like where I live, I had a little bit of a problem. They only had one of the type of speaker that I wanted, so I couldn't hear I couldn't do the Pepsi Challenge or apples to apples right then and there, because they only, at my local Best Buy, for example, at least that was the only place I could demo at. I know it was Best Buy. I could do it at, the only thing they had was the Bowers & Wilkins M1s, but no SVS prime elevations. The SVSs, I was interested in those because I hear all the good reviews about it and all this good stuff. I know y'all see them in the background. Some of you eagle-eyed viewers see I got the SVSs back there, but just wait. Let me go into some detail. So they're very similar in what they get. I'm gonna start with the Bowers & Wilkins. So what you get with the Bowers & Wilkins comes with this aluminum stand, which is rubber at the bottom. Peel that off, and your speaker terminals are down here. They're like spring loaded, so you just got to strip it, put it in there, let it go, hold it in place. And at the bottom of your rubber pad, you have this hex key in here. Do not lose this damn thing, because that was what you use to tighten all your speakers down and adjust everything, except, yeah, pretty much use that. And it also comes with a wall mounting bracket. It's on the ground. Comes with this wall mounting bracket. And then there's like a little plastic piece that slides over the top, make it look all pretty, whatever. And like I said, you put your speaker terminals in there. Now these you'll screw down with a screwdriver. It actually terminates on that, and then you just tighten it down just like that. Pretty simple. Not a big, kind of a genius design. It's pretty cool. On the SVS side, you have a 4-way bracket. Now I would take it off the wall, but that's just too much work. I don't feel like doing that. You have basically a 4-way bracket. It comes with its own anchor screws, which are pretty good anchor screws, by the way. It comes with its own anchor screws, and it comes with like this little rubber slot that goes over the peg. So it actually slides into the bracket, and then that locks it in place. It has a way to lock it so there's no wobble, no vibration, anything like that. And it also comes with a template. And one thing I like about the SVS, it comes with a template, so you know exactly where to drill the holes. You can draw it, whatever you need to do, wherever you need to drill. Whatever you need to do, you have a template and you know exactly where to put it. So I think that's pretty awesome. Let me go into details, little differences between the two. I'm gonna start with the Bowers & Wilkins. I'm kind of talking about both of them. On the Bowers & Wilkins side, I thought the speakers sounded great. They're very clear. For music, they sound amazing. On the SVS side, they sound amazing too. Now, I'm gonna kind of throw this out there real quick. They're very close on how loud they sound and everything like that. They're very close. I give the slight sound quality edge to the Bowers & Wilkins, but I will give the output and loudness side on the SVS side. I guess because, it's 87 dB sensitivity versus 85 dB sensitivity on the Bowers & Wilkins side. 55 hertz on the SVS side versus 65 or 64 hertz bandwidth on the Bowers & Wilkins side, for those of you that care about specs. So, and both of them are at 8 ohms or whatnot. I thought the SVS has got a little bit louder, a little bit more output, just a little bit though. Not crazy enough to where it's just like, oh my God, I must have these over that. And hearing them back and forth, they're very close in how they sound. I would have to give a slight, like I said before, I would have to give a slight edge to the Bowers & Wilkins just because they're just a little bit clearer. And I mean just a little bit. They're not like massively better, but I thought they was a little clearer. And I think with music is definitely a bigger difference. They kind of have a different sound. I think the drivers sound just a little bit different. They have a slightly different sound. I think, me personally, I like how the Bowers, the way they drivers sound. But for movies, I enjoy the SVS a lot better. That's something I want to get into. If you're thinking about doing the whole prime elevation as your front center, as your front stage, or just all the way around, if you primarily watch movies, don't listen to a whole lot of music, and you have a decent subwoofer. And like I said, I tried it with my SVS over there with 16 Ultra, which is way overkill for that. And I also have a Definitive Super Cube 2000. It's something that's pretty comparable with the size you're going with. Maybe if you got a small apartment or small room you're putting it in, maybe you're going for that. I thought for movies, the SVSs sounded a little bit more dynamic. It just had a little bit more of that home theater pop, just a little bit more. For clarity, I thought the Bowers & Wilkins was a little bit better. And if you play music, definitely the Bowers & Wilkins. So I hate people when they give reviews, they say it depends. I hate the it depends the review, but I kind of have to go there this time a little bit. It kind of depends on what you like. Me personally, if I'm just going to do if I'm going to do like a 5 to 7.1 surround sound, I would say for me, I would go with the Bowers & Wilkins because I just like how they sounded. That's just me. And that's because I listen to a good balance of music and movies. If you primarily watch movies, I would definitely go with the SVS Prime Elevations with this one caveat is that they're angled. All of them are angled. So if you like the up high look, you know, just kind of have up and out of the way, I would definitely go with the SVSs. If you're going to have a center channel, yeah, you can turn it sideways and cock it, but it's going to look kind of, for a center channel, it's a little nilly-wampus or something. I would get something else, maybe like was it the Prime Bookshelf or something? Not a Prime Bookshelf. What's that called? The Prime Speaker, whatever the other one is. It'll come to me in just a second. I'd go with that. Maybe it's a center channel, turn it sideways. At least with the SVSs, you can turn them sideways. Now, real quick, I will say this real quick. A lot of people like to Prime Satellite. Now I remember. A lot of people will compare the SVS Prime Elevations to the SVS Prime Satellites. I'm going to tell you right now, they do not sound the same. A lot of people will tell you they sound the same. They do not sound the same. The SVS Prime Elevations, to me, sound way better than the Prime Satellites. And the Bowers & Wilkins smoke them. You know, if you go to your Best Buy, they may have the SVS Prime Satellites and the Bowers & Wilkins M-1s. If you compare the two, the M-1s will smoke it every time. But when it comes to them Prime Elevations, they're very close, you know, and they kind of, they go back and forth. They battle back and forth. When it comes to sound quality, like I said before, I think the Prime Elevations are a little bit louder. They got a little bit more output. And for movies, I think they have a little bit more dynamic, just warm, whatever the term these audiophiles use. It has a more dynamic sound. And I thought the Bowers & Wilkins are clearer. Now, what are you paying for with the SVS versus the Bowers & Wilkins? Now, here's where SVS gets an edge to me. And that's their mounting system. If you're going to mount it, you can damn near mount that thing anywhere. You can mount it sideways, you can mount it on the ceiling, you can mount it this way, you can change the magnet on the grill to make it say SVS, it'll be sitting right side up or right side in. I think when it comes to mounting it, the SVS Prime Elevations are amazing. I really do. With the Bowers & Wilkins, I'm gonna say not so much. Like these here. If you got nice little stands or something, you can sit these on stands. These are nice and pretty looking. They definitely have the wife acceptance factor. They're really nice speakers. I got the gloss. I got not the gloss white one. I have the white ones as my surrounds. The white and gray Bowers & Wilkins M1. And then you have this bracket that you use, and you notice you have an angle. Even though this lays flat against the wall, it has an angle so your speakers kind of sit top heavy. Even though the SVSs are heavier, I think they're like 2 pounds heavier, they just sit a lot more balanced, and the anchor screws are pretty good in them, and you can do it that way. These come with no hardware, it just comes with this and that. Only hardware you get is the damn hex thing to tighten everything, what do you call it? To tighten everything down. You have to get your own screws for this thing. It doesn't come with any hardware. And the other thing is kind of top heavy. So I would say if you're not drilling this into a stud, I really wouldn't trust this in drywall. This just me personally, because all you have is this little skinny pole that it sits on, and then it's more top heavy and it sits at an angle. So you really can't get it as flush against the wall. If you like the flush look, You're not going to get that using this. Unless you turn it upside down, and then you can kind of adjust it and get it more flush to the wall, which it ain't designed to do that, but it kind of is. You know, if you turn it upside down, then you can get it, you can get the Bowers and Wilkins a little bit flushed up against the wall. That's one thing you can do, a little trick you can do. I didn't do that because I got it in my seating area. I got it angled down. To me, the angle is perfect, and I'm blessed enough to have a damn wood stud everywhere I wanted to put it. So I was lucky in that aspect. So what did I go with, and why did I do it? For Dolby Atmos, and right now, I originally I was gonna go with a 5.1.4 setup, right? And whichever speakers I liked the most I was gonna get rid of, but I ended up liking both of them for different reasons. So now I have a 7.1.2 setup. Hopefully to upgrade to a 7. Damn, all this Atmos shit got me all messed up. A 7.2.4 setup eventually. That's what I want to do. I ended up using the SVS prime elevation, as you can see in the background. I ended up using those as my Dolby Atmos because, like I said, I think I liked the sound a little bit better with the Bowers and Wilkins. And seeing as how I plan on upgrading my front stage with Bowers and Wilkins, I got a good timbre match all the way around. I like how they sound. So I ended up going with I got 7.1 in my speakers. So I got like 2 Bowers and Wilkins here. You can't really see on the off camera. And I got 2 there off camera. And like I said, you can see my prime elevations up here. I got them up front because of my screen. They just look better. I'm gonna keep it real. They just look better up there. They're you know, I got my little screen and everything going. And those prime elevations really complemented how everything looked up front. Not to say that the M-1s look bad. I think they're decent looking speakers. They just didn't look right for Atmos, at least for my taste. I just didn't think they looked all that. It was really an aesthetics thing for me. But sound wise, it's not like the sound so much, and seeing as how surround is more active than Atmos modules, that's why I went with the Bowers and Wilkins M1s for my side surrounds, if you will. Here pretty soon, I'm about 2 more SVS prime elevations and probably put them in the ceiling, or I may just I may actually put some work in and put some in-ceiling speakers. I'm still debating on that. I'll probably just go with the elevation because laziness, and they're just easy to mount. You know, just mount it, run some wire, and I'm good. So I hope this little review / overview helps some people out on their decisions on what they made. Hopefully my decision will help you. Like I said, the only thing that you know, what you like is what you like. So, you know, I would say base it off, you know, whatever your ears like the most, or whatever your setup in your room allows you to do. I say go with that. That's why I went what I went with. So my SVSs, I use them for Dolby Atmos. And my Bowers and Wilkins, I use them for my surrounds. And eventually I'll probably go with B&W up front, because one, they look good and they sound good. So hopefully that helped you out, and thank y'all very much, and God bless.